So how did you enjoy the no confidence debate in Parliament on Sunday, Kun Sathit? Did you spend all your Sunday glued on the TV set?
I have to admit I forced myself to watch the debate. It's so exhilarating to have to listen to all the protests and everything.
But that was part of the game.
Annoying.
That was part of the game. I expected it, but I didn't expect it to be so boring, so pervasive, and in fact so frustrating.
Maybe the opposition have to thank the government MPs for making it a little bit interesting, because without all the protests it would have been a non-event actually. So everything has been, we have seen before the clips that the opposition showed, and all the photos and everything. Is we have to blame the social media for being such a spoiler for this.
Because if you are on Twitter and Facebook, you've seen them all, right?
You've seen them all, and even what Kun Pracha showed on the screen himself, we have seen that before also.
At one point, I agree with Kun Jatuporn, who stood up and accused Kun Sirichok, the Democrat MP, who showed all these clips, saying, "Is that all you could do? I've seen all this before on Facebook, Twitter.
Right.
The opposition should have done more homework. This is nothing." So
right.
like that.
The Prime Minister Kun Yingluck also said more or less the same thing today, although in a more polite way.
Yeah.
He said that the Democrat Party was using some media materials to use against the Justice Minister. So.
But overall, did you give Kun Pracha a pass?
Well, some accusations do have some ground, but opposition MPs cannot make it a clear-cut case of corruption and
mismanagement, maybe.
Maybe
inefficiency, maybe. But direct corruption against Kun Pracha, not that clear, right?
I think the strongest attack on Kun Pracha had to do with his alleged nepotism. That he used, he could have violated the law in appointing a lot of Pheu Thai MPs to supervise the relief operations, and maybe that's the reason why at the beginning the government tried to debate about the whether the FROC was a government agency or not. That could have been a motive to shield Kun Pracha from this attack.
Yeah, that was interesting to me, and I found the government's position on that quite interesting. Maybe they had a point, because Kun Pracha stood up. To my surprise, he was more aggressive than I thought he would be. He said, "Are you having this central debate against me as Justice Minister
or as
Director of FROG? Please make it clear," you know.
Right.
And I think the opposition at one point was sort of, yeah, maybe he had a point. But then, you know, they let it go, because I'm sure that after some discussions among the government leaders, the Prime Minister, Kun Pracha, and Kun Chalerm, you know, they said, well, let it debate go, because otherwise we'll be locked in this very heated debate on whether this is Justice Minister or FROG Director being attacked.
I think the opposition was somewhat, you know, they had intended to attack him in connection with the loyal pardon controversy, but now that the government has backed away from that, they did not have much to say in yesterday's debate. So it was quite boring, like you said.
Well, the individuals, the personalities were interesting. You know, you had the MPs, young MPs like Kun Keng,
Karun Hosakun, and the other guy,
Chirayu from SUB. He was former reporter at ITV. So,
and interestingly, we have talked to some reporters at the Pheu Thai Party. Those MPs, those young MPs, they did not stand up to defend Kun Pracha. They just stood up to defend themselves.
Yeah.
Actually, Kun Pracha doesn't have many friends in the Pheu Thai Party. Many people don't like him that much. And if you notice it yesterday, well, the protest came from the people whose feet have been stepped upon by the opposition MPs. Right. They do not just rise up to defend Kun Pracha.
No, no. So overall, you cannot say that the opposition won the battle, but at the same time, you cannot say Kun Pracha was saved by the bell, or that he managed to rebut all the accusations.
Well, the timing was not quite right for the opposition to take it to Kun Pracha at this moment. A lot of polls were suggesting that this is not the time to have a no confidence debate. But I would say that this is the person who would be the most relieved is Prime Minister Yingluck.
Would she be affected by the outcome of the debate, do you think?
No, and I don't think she would immediately remove Kun Pracha either, because by doing that, it would mean that she failed in the flood management. So Kun Pracha should be saved.
So no immediate cabinet reshuffle, no negative impact on the Prime Minister herself?
She said no. She said that she's not thinking about cabinet reshuffle at the moment. But interestingly, some reporters go to interview her husband, who said that she was really thinking about it. So why they asked him? I have no idea.
But the vote came out this morning.
No surprise. Very expected.
273 against 188.
Just one person from Kun Chuwit party switching side, and Kun Chuwit said that it was a mistake, and erroneous voting.
So the no confidence debate has come and gone. The government will now be free from any pressure from the opposition for at least a few months.
Yes, and even the next House session, they will not allow no confidence debate in the next House.
So that means what? 6 months from now?
6 months from now, the government should be saved when Parliament is concerned only, but unless they bring something on themselves, for example, the loyal, the pardon controversy. If they bring that again, they could have trouble again. But as of now, 6 months. Free of parliamentary trouble.
Yeah, politically quite safe, except if they decide to shoot themselves in the feet. And
yes,
that may happen, because in politics, never say never.